We keep saying that all this plays out in the marketplace, and the Customer Loyalty Engagement Index is a national study, and good for all those brands. The real test is when you see whether this plays out in the specific cities that you look at. And not only did AT&T win #1 nationally, but they also took the first place in Atlanta. The findings in the Customer Loyalty Index always play out in the marketplace, and that's true whether it's national or it's local. And we saw that when we did the same test in Dallas-Fort Worth, AT&T Wireless Services was also #1. What's always very interesting is to see whether or not the national figures translate into the local marketplaces, and what we've been seeing is AT&T was #1 nationally, and they were #1 in Detroit. Annually, what we're able to see is who wins on a national basis. AT&T was #1 this year nationally. They were also #1 in the Houston market. The customer loyalty engagement winners generally find that not only do they do well nationally, but they do well in their major markets, and this was true for AT&T, who was also #1 in Miami. It's always nice to be a national winner. AT&T was #1 nationally in the Customer Loyalty Engagement Index. It's nice to see that these results translates into really tough markets. They were #1 in New York City as well. In this year's Customer Loyalty Engagement Index, AT&T was #1 in the wireless service provider category nationally. They were also #1 in Salt Lake City. AT&T was #1 nationally in the Customer Loyalty Engagement Index this year, and that translates to lots of local marketplaces, including San Francisco, where they were also #1. One of the nice things about being #1 in the national numbers for the Customer Loyalty Engagement Index is that it translates to the various regions, and AT&T was also #1 in St. Louis. AT&T was #1 in the National Customer Loyalty Engagement Index, and those results are showing up in all of their other marketplaces, including Tampa. AT&T was #1 nationally in the Customer Loyalty Engagement Index in the wireless service provider category, and they were also #1 in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.